Australian beaches claim the lives of dozens of people every year. Lifeguards warn that these spots are unsafe for anyone, and most folks are too scared to even go near the water, or so they say. And there's a good reason for that. Australian beaches often see dozens of different kinds of jellyfish washed ashore, which can be quite nasty at best. At the beach in Deception Bay, Queensland, thousands of Catostylus mosaicus jellyfish were washed ashore, creating quite a scene. Witnesses described the beach as covered in a bubbly film, saying they'd never seen so many jellyfish in one place. The smell was downright gross. Needless to say, going for a swim was out of the question. It was just too nasty. Yuck. The only upside to this whole situation is that while the sting from these jellyfish is painful, it's not dangerous to humans. Just stay away and make sure to keep your pets safe. Dogs can handle encounters with these jellyfish with some help from the vet. It's not uncommon to see Portuguese man-o-war on Sydney beaches almost every year, occasionally even more than once. No one really knows for sure why a whole fleet of jellyfish ends up washed ashore. However, there's a theory suggesting they get swept out of the tropics by strong currents and carried along the coast of Australia. Then, thanks to rains and rough tides, they end up on beaches. Some jellyfish might even forget to turn off their VPN during migration. You know, it seems like a bit of a tradition now. Kind of a gentle reminder to make sure you don't forget to hit that like button. How gentle would you rate this reminder? On a scale of 1 to 10? And here comes the Portuguese man-o-war jellyfish you should watch out for. Firstly, they're the ones that sting people most often in Australia, so you're pretty likely to have a run-in with them. Secondly, the bite of a Portuguese man-o-war causes intense pain lasting over an hour or even longer. Additionally, it can trigger an allergic reaction, which can be life-threatening. Between December 1st and January 31st, more than 22,800 swimmers at Sunshine Coast beaches sought medical help after encounters with Portuguese man-o-war jellyfish. That's a whole lot of people in just 2 months. Also, I wanted to mention Barlings Beach in New South Wales. In July 2021, a beachgoer stumbled upon thousands of Portuguese man-o-war washed up on the shore. Surprisingly, these creatures were still alive and wriggling, seemingly eager to sting any unsuspecting bystander. Or so it appeared to him. The man admitted to being stung by Portuguese man-o-war multiple times before, and he believes that if one falls into such a heap of them, that'd be the end. These are the kind of stories that are too bizarre not to share. Back in 2015, people in Townsville started seeing box jellyfish out on the beaches. Lifeguards explained that these jellyfish tend to show up there in February or after some heavy rainfall, but everyone was told to watch out for them because even a dead box jellyfish is deadly, especially if it's a large specimen. And if jellyfish larger than 6 to 8 inches were found on the beaches, that's just downright lethal. Box jellyfish, especially the sea wasp species, are the primary cause of fatalities among swimmers in Australia. Sea wasps rank among the most venomous creatures globally. Even a healthy person's heart can stop just 2 minutes after a severe sting. Plus, getting stung by sea wasps hurts a lot. Since 1883, at least 79 people have been killed by these jellyfish, and that's just the cases that made it into the official records. To stay safe from box jellyfish, they install special nets or barriers in the water to keep the creatures away from the beach. Also, you'll always find vinegar containers along the beaches and with lifeguards for first aid purposes. Actually, the beaches in northern Australia are considered some of the most dangerous in the world because of these jellyfish. But it's even worse at the beaches in Darwin, the capital of Australia's Northern Territory. There are virtually zero protective nets here, so very few people dare to swim along these shores. And let's not forget about the crocs that call these shores home. But compared to the transparent creature that can stop your heart in just 2 minutes, a big predatory reptile seems almost harmless. Although there have been cases of attacks, like on dogs, right in front of their owners. When it comes to nets, they used to be around. Journalists dug up plenty of stories about a net from the mid-1980s. It was set up in 1986 and it cost about $30,000. But within 2 years, repairs racked up to around $60,000. Storms, tidal currents, and even sharks damaging it. They were just trying to snack on the fish caught in the net. Vandalism played a part too. Long story short, they got rid of the net, and any attempts to bring it back brought about the same old problems. This is how Darwin's beaches and the people on them were left defenseless. Australian beaches aren't just dangerous because of jellyfish. Recently, there have been reports of an unusually high number of deadly sea snakes washing up on the east coast of Australia. In just 1 week in November, 7 sightings were recorded. 6 out of 7 spots are beaches frequented by people every day. The yellow-bellied sea snakes are considered a highly venomous species. The venom of these snakes is both neurotoxic and myotoxic, meaning a bite can cause paralysis and death. It's odd that these snakes usually live far away from reefs and shores, so theoretically they shouldn't end up on the beach. But somehow it happened. Maybe those fierce coastal winds and storms are at fault, exhausting the snakes as they battle against them, eventually just sweeping them onto the shore. Supporting this idea is the fact that the snakes found looked really worn out, as if they'd used up all their energy on something. However, when a similar snake washed up on a beach in California, scientists figured it was due to warming temperatures and ocean currents. Here's the deal. Warm-loving reptiles tag along with warm currents and sometimes get carried off really far, like all the way to California, where yellow-bellied sea snakes don't actually live. And this is happening more frequently due to global warming. Sea snakes are spending more time near the water's surface, their bodies consuming more oxygen, so they come up for air more often, and that's where currents sweep them away. Let's head back to Australia. What could add some excitement to the local beaches? Sharks, definitely. When we talk about dangerous swimming spots, we have to mention sharks. Not long ago, a new interactive map surfaced online pinpointing the key hotspots in Australia, the places where shark encounters happen more often, and it looks like these marine predators particularly fancy New South Wales and Queensland. On the map, you can see all the attacks, both fatal and non-fatal, that happened over the past 47 years. Interestingly, there have been around 50 attacks recorded between the two states mentioned earlier, with nearly 20 of them resulting in fatalities. What's really interesting is that the area where sharks seem to strike especially often and viciously doesn't stand out in any significant way. It's not even listed among the world's most dangerous beaches. It just exists. Maybe the reason there are so many shark attacks in that spot is because there are simply a lot of people around. When there's a bigger crowd, naturally, more people go swimming. And that means more run-ins with sharks. Even on this map, it's obvious that there are really many people in that area. According to data in the Global Shark Attack File, there have been 13 main spots where unprovoked shark attacks occurred in Australia between 1990 and 2016. Most of these incidents took place in New South Wales. This research also led to the creation of a list ranking the riskiest areas in Australia. The first spot goes to Byron Bay's beach, of course, that's in New South Wales. This place saw the most unprovoked shark attacks during this period. Also in New South Wales, but this time in the town of Ballina, there have been 6 attacks reported, one of which resulted in a death. Sydney Harbour comes in 3rd place on the list with a total of 5 attacks recorded over the span of 2 decades. Here's how the top 13 looks in case anyone's wondering. Even places we haven't talked about yet can hold their own dangers. Remember what lifeguards say? Nobody can feel completely safe. You could say the most dangerous beaches are on Fraser Island, off Australia's east coast. Sure, the beaches are pristine, surrounded by ancient tropical forests, a real slice of paradise. But this paradise comes with a twist. Dingoes, venomous snakes, and one of the world's scariest spiders from the Antracidae family. It's not safe to swim or surf on the eastern shores of the island because of strong currents and sharks. You'll find Port Jackson sharks and even great white sharks here, and they swim close to the shallow waters near the shore. That's because the marine life is thriving here, and the sharks feed on it. Oh, and another thing, there aren't any lifeguards on these beaches, so if something happens to you, there won't be anyone around to help out. You'll only find dingoes wandering along the beach, but don't expect them to rush to your rescue. However, rip currents can be encountered on many beaches across Australia. A picture of Gold Coast Beach went viral. Hopefully, this will save many lives. A photo was posted by a local woman showing a serene area amidst the waves in the ocean, with a warning that, although it seems like the simplest and safest spot to enter the water, it's actually the complete opposite. These rips are where the rip currents form. These are incredibly dangerous spots that cause at least 21 drowning deaths each year on average. The way they work is simple. The current flows directly away from the shore into the open sea or ocean. It's exceptionally powerful and emerges very close to the shore, catching people off guard. They keep trying to get back to shore, but they're constantly dragged back into the water. If you look at it, more people lose their lives due to rip currents than in many natural disasters that happen in Australia. In Sydney, there's a beach known as Tamarama, and it's notorious for being one of the riskiest spots for swimming, all because of its powerful rip currents. The beach is surrounded by cliffs and boasts a large sandy stretch which causes constant rip currents. This makes Tamarama the most dangerous and heavily patrolled beach. Sometimes there are so many rip currents that the beach is completely closed to visitors. Okay, let's be real here. It's not the most dangerous, but it's definitely one of the riskiest spots for swimming in all of New South Wales. This beach sees more rescue operations than any other beach in Sydney. Unless you're familiar with the area, it's not recommended to swim at Tamarama Beach. However, if you still want to jump in, pay close attention to the warning signs. And keep in mind that according to the Australian government website, this beach is rated as an 8 out of 10 for danger. Oh, and don't forget about those venomous spiders living on Sydney's beaches. As if rip currents weren't enough trouble. You might run into Anthrax robustus there, one of the few spider species that can seriously harm people, even causing death. Up in the north of Western Australia's Broome District lies Cable Beach, the most popular beach in the area. It's also a place where you might unexpectedly encounter a shark. Such encounters can be fatal, as happened in 2020 when a 58-year-old man lost his life. At Cable Beach, people often encounter sharks, including potentially deadly tiger and bull sharks. However, the beach closes once or twice a year when traveling along the coast are not sharks, but saltwater crocodiles. Just what we need here. Towards the end of 2019, they had to shut down the beach because there was a 12-foot crocodile hanging around. It was just chilling in the waves near the shore pretty much all day before probably heading back to one of the creeks. But that didn't mean the predator wouldn't come back the next day, so they figured it was best to catch it and move it further away to a wildlife park. At least that took one worry off everyone's minds. Because you see, there are jellyfish around here, and chances are you might bump into them. Over the past 5 years at Cable Beach, there have been 159 stings recorded, so it's not a good idea to swim at Cable Beach during the rainy season, typically from November to April, and even for some time after. The problem is, some stings happen as early as May and June, and jellyfish actually live in the water all year round. And these are box jellyfish, tiny, but incredibly venomous. Every now and then you might stumble upon some venomous snakes along the shore. Just a little extra danger to keep things interesting. And by the way, the beach danger rating is also an 8 out of 10. Besides Cable Beach, crocodiles can also be found in the river mouths and on the beaches of tropical North Queensland. For example, in September 2023, a 13-foot crocodile was spotted in the water just about 328 feet from the shore. Back then, swimmers and beachgoers were advised to refrain from swimming for a while. However, perhaps a more effective warning would have been, "Hey, there's a darn crocodile in the water. Swim for your lives." Normally, when the weather's good, you'll find saltwater crocodiles swimming around in open waters. However, when it's stormy, they tend to hang around closer to the shore and seek shelter in bays. Airlie Beach, nestled close to the mouth of the Proserpine River, has the highest density of crocodiles in Queensland. So authorities are urging people to be extremely cautious when visiting this beach. Just because you can't see crocodiles doesn't mean they're not there. They're just really good at blending in. That's why people are advised against swimming at dusk or dawn when crocodiles are most active, and definitely not to swim in the river or near its mouth. To ensure everyone remembers the danger, warning signs are placed in the area, and if anyone spots a crocodile, they're encouraged to contact the authorities. Then they'll come and tie a dead chicken. Wait, what? All right. It's unlikely that authorities actually do this, but here's a cool trick that sounds like it could work. In some places where crocodiles are sometimes spotted, people tie a dead chicken near the water every night. If it's still there untouched in the morning, it means there are no crocs around and it's safe to swim. But if the chicken's gone, it's probably best to stay away from the water. However, it's unclear how they can tell that a crocodile ate the chicken and not some other hungry predator. But I guess Australians know best. Before we wrap things up, don't forget to hit the like button. See you later.